In this video today, I'm going to show you top 5 mistakes beginner photographers make and how you can overcome them. What is happening, people? My name is Gorav and I'm a travel and a wedding photographer based in Birmingham, England. In this video today, I wanted to discuss some of the things that I wish I had known when I first started photography. So here are top 5 mistakes that beginner photographers make when first starting off. Number 1 has to be practice with your new equipment. Regardless of how long you've had your camera or your other camera lenses, for example, if you buy new equipment, always test it out first. You never know whether the equipment's going to be faulty or require additional skill to operate. For example, if you've just paid £2,000 for a lens, you'd expect it to work right out of the box. However, that's not the case in a lot of the scenarios. You may need to actually calibrate this lens to your camera body so it doesn't back focus or front focus. And that is a known issue. I've actually personally had this issue myself, but luckily I've had the opportunity to play around with the lens on my camera body before going out in the real world and start shooting. So don't just think just because you've paid a lot of money for new equipment it would work right out of the box. That's not the case. You want to test your equipment before you go out there and start shooting. Right, so tip number 2 is get to know your camera body. Now, I'm not saying get to know every single function in the menu. That would help too. But what I'm trying to say is get to know all the buttons on the outside of your camera body. The reason for that is a lot of these buttons are put in place because they are commonly used functions. And if you don't know what these buttons do and you accidentally press one of these buttons while you're in the middle of a photo shoot, you might have a hard time trying to figure out what just went wrong. So what I would recommend is learn what these buttons do that are on the outside of your camera body. Then at least if you press them accidentally, you know how to resolve the issue. Tip number 3 is being aware of your surroundings. For example, if you're doing a portrait shoot outdoors, you are most likely going to be focused on the person, the poses, the camera settings, all sorts of things, the lighting. What you may not be aware of is a tree sticking out from the person's head behind them. And you probably realize this only in post-processing when you're editing the photos, or like a odd color object like a red bin in the background that's sticking out. To try and avoid this, I would recommend take a few shots on your camera, review the shots, not only the pose, the lighting, but everything in the background as well. Just make sure there's nothing in the background that you don't want, and it will save you a lot of work when you're editing your photos. Now, tip number 4 is not backing up your images correctly. What I tend to do is I tend to shoot on 2 memory cards at the same time because all my cameras take 2 memory cards. So they're always making a duplicate copy of the same file on another memory card. If one memory card was to go corrupt, I always have a backup. Furthermore, when I back up the images on my hard drive, I never ever delete them off the memory card until I've finished editing the images and have uploaded them on the client access area on my website. Only then I would go ahead and delete the images off the memory cards, and even then I have a backup of the photos on a hard drive. Tip number 5 is following posing guidelines strictly. Now, I would recommend that you avoid this at all costs. All these poses that you see online or these tutorial videos, they're not going to work for everybody. It's not a one size fits all. It is merely a starting point like many other things in photography. So take that with a grain of salt. Don't follow these poses by the book. Remember, a lot of these people that you're trying to photograph aren't necessarily models like the ones that you see in these photography training videos. So instead of trying to pose them strictly, try and build a rapport with them instead and make them feel more comfortable as you're taking photos of them. Explain to them that they don't have to get this right in the first instance, and as you go along with the photo shoot, they will gradually get better. So that's it for this video tutorial, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you know of any other tips that I might have missed out, do drop them in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.